All right, so let's dive into this whole credit repair thing.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out how to keep your credit squeaky clean,
Right.
and you're not alone. It turns out a lot of us have some credit skeletons in the closet.
Oh, yeah.
The Federal Trade Commission actually found that 1 in 5 consumers had errors on their credit reports
Wow.
back in 2015. And those errors were actually bringing their scores down.
Yeah.
So we're going deep into repair your credit, keeping your credit profile error-free today.
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of this, you'll feel like you have all the tools you need to really take charge.
It's amazing how many people don't realize how much power they have when it comes to their credit.
Yeah,
It's not just something that happens to you. It's
Correct.
something you can actually shape.
that's a great point.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel like their credit score is this mysterious number
Yeah.
that just controls their lives.
Hmm.
But if we're going full detective mode here,
Okay.
we need to understand why a good credit profile even matters in the first place. Like, what's the big deal?
Well, think of your credit score as like a financial fingerprint.
Okay.
It tells lenders, landlords,
Mm-hmm.
even some employers, a story about your financial habits.
Okay.
It determines whether you qualify for loans,
Mhm.
the interest rates you'll pay,
Right.
even your chances of getting that apartment you want.
So it's not just about getting a loan for a house or a car.
No,
It's so many other things.
right? It affects so many areas of your life.
Even renting an apartment. That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
so if we mess up our credit,
Yeah,
it's like leaving a messy fingerprint at a crime scene.
exactly.
What rights do we have to clean things up?
That's where the Fair Credit Reporting Act comes in,
Oh,
or
okay.
FCRA for short.
Got it.
This is your legal protection against inaccurate credit reporting.
Oh,
It not only gives you the right to see your credit reports,
right.
it also gives you a clear process for disputing errors and getting them corrected.
Right.
But here's something a lot of people don't know. You also have the right to add a 100-word statement to your report if a dispute isn't resolved in your favor.
Really?
Yep. Think of it as your chance to tell your side of the story.
Wow, I had no idea. So even if something can't be completely removed,
Yeah,
I can at least provide some context.
exactly.
Okay, I'm liking this detective work already.
Good.
Let's talk strategy.
Mm-hmm.
What are the steps involved in actually repairing our credit?
First, you need to gather your evidence.
Okay.
That means getting your credit reports from all 3 major credit bureaus,
Okay.
Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
Right.
You can get all of those for free at annualcreditreport.com.
Perfect.
It's important to get all 3
Mm-hmm.
because different lenders might use different bureaus,
Right.
and there could be inconsistencies.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've got my magnifying glass.
Yeah.
I've got my 3 reports. Now what?
Now it's time to really examine those reports like a true detective.
Oh.
You're looking for inconsistencies,
Mm-hmm.
red flags, anything that seems off. Each report is divided into 6 sections.
Okay.
Personal information,
Huh.
credit history, credit inquiries,
Okay.
financial public records, consumer statements, and important disclosures.
Got it.
So start with the personal information section.
Okay.
Even a simple typo in your name or address can cause major problems down the line.
So I'm basically looking for any signs of foul play,
Yeah,
even if it seems small.
exactly.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, what about the credit history section?
That's where the real meat of your credit story is.
Okay.
This section details all of your credit accounts,
Mhm.
including loans, credit cards,
Right.
even things like store financing.
Okay.
You need to make sure that all of the account information is correct,
Uh-huh.
including balances, credit limits,
Mm-hmm.
and payment history.
Got it.
Be on the lookout for accounts that you don't recognize.
Right.
That could be a sign of identity theft.
Okay.
Also, make sure all the payment dates and balances match your records.
So incorrect information could mean that someone's been messing with my records.
It's possible.
Got it. Okay, what about credit inquiries?
Yes.
Is that where we look for people snooping around without my permission?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
The credit inquiries section shows everyone who has accessed your credit report in the past 2 years.
Okay.
Usually when you apply for a loan or a credit card,
Right.
make sure that you authorized all of those inquiries.
Okay.
Any unfamiliar ones could be a red flag.
So it's like checking for footprints at a crime scene.
Exactly.
Got it.
Okay.
So we've got personal info accounts and inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
What about the financial public records section?
Okay.
That one sounds a bit more serious.
This section is all about major financial events that become public record.
Okay.
Things like bankruptcies, foreclosures,
Right.
or tax lands.
Mm-hmm.
It also includes collection accounts for any unpaid debts.
Okay.
You want to make sure that anything in this section is accurate
Yeah.
and reflects your current situation.
Right.
For example, if you've settled a debt,
Mm.
It should be marked as paid.
So this section is less about little errors.
Yeah.
And more about making sure the big picture is correct.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now, we already talked about consumer statements.
We did.
So let's go to that last section, important disclosures.
Okay.
Sounds a little boring.
Yeah.
Is it really that important?
It can be, believe it or not.
Okay.
This section outlines your legal rights under the FCRA, including the timelines for credit bureaus to respond to disputes.
Okay.
Usually it's 30 days,
Right.
but it can be extended to 45 if they need more information.
Okay, so this is where I find out how long I have to wait for the case to be solved.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, so I've reviewed all 3 reports, and I found some discrepancies.
Yeah.
That's step 3 in this credit repair investigation.
Step 3 is where you take action.
Okay.
Time to file a dispute.
Okay.
You have 2 options here.
Okay.
You can go straight to the source, the furnisher who provided the information to the credit bureau.
Okay.
Or you can file the dispute with the credit bureau itself.
2 different approaches.
Right.
What are the pros and cons of each?
Going straight to the furnisher can sometimes be faster,
Okay.
especially if they have more detailed information about your account.
Mm-hmm.
The downside is that they might not be as equipped to handle disputes as the credit bureaus.
Right.
On the other hand, credit bureaus are legally obligated to investigate and respond to your dispute within a certain time frame. They'll even give you a free updated report if they make the correction.
So they have to take action.
They do.
That's good to know. But what if the credit bureau doesn't agree with me?
Well, if they believe that the information is accurate, they might not make the change you requested. But remember, you can always use that 100-word statement to give your perspective.
Yeah, perfect. So I've sent off my dispute letter. I've got all my evidence neatly organized. What happens next?
Now we wait for the bureau's response.
Okay.
Remember those timelines we talked about in the important disclosures?
Yeah.
They have 30 days to investigate.
Okay.
Or 45 if they need more information.
Got it. And then, drum roll, please. What are the possible outcomes?
Well, there are 2 main possibilities.
Okay.
The best case scenario is that your dispute is successful. The credit bureau removes or corrects the inaccurate information.
Right.
And you can request a free updated report just to make sure everything looks good.
Case closed.
Exactly.
That's the ending we want.
Right.
But what if my dispute isn't successful?
Even then, it's not the end of the road.
Okay.
You can still add that 100-word statement we talked about to give your perspective.
Yeah.
It might not remove the negative item completely, but it can give a more complete picture to anyone who's looking at your credit history.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better.
Good.
So let's say we've taken care of all those errors. But there are still some negative things on my report.
Okay.
Things that are accurate,
Yeah.
but not exactly great.
Right.
Like late payments collections, maybe even a bankruptcy.
Okay.
What are my options for dealing with these like financial skeletons in my closet?
You have a few different paths you can take.
Okay.
The first is kind of a time heals all wounds approach.
Okay.
Negative information will eventually fall off your report.
Okay. How long are we talking?
It depends on the type of item.
Okay.
Most negative marks, like late payments or collection accounts, stay on your report for 7 years
Okay.
from the date they happened.
Got it.
Chapter 13, bankruptcy, also stays for 7 years
Okay.
from the filing date. But Chapter 7 bankruptcy can stay on your report for a whole decade.
A decade?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so patience is key.
It definitely helps.
But what if I don't have that kind of patience?
You can definitely be proactive.
Okay.
You can always try disputing those negative items, especially if they're outdated.
Oh.
Or you think the data furnisher might not have all the right info anymore.
Right.
It's worth a shot. And in some cases, if you have a good history with a creditor, you can ask for a good faith adjustment.
Okay.
They might be willing to remove a negative item, especially if it was an error or something that was out of your control.
So it never hurts to ask.
Exactly.
But let's be realistic.
Okay.
Life happens.
Yeah.
We all have a few late payments or mistakes on our credit. What can we do to keep our credit clean moving forward?
Prevention is key.
Okay.
The most powerful thing you have is consistency.
Got it.
Make all your payments on time. That's like establishing a solid alibi for your credit.
Okay.
Payment history is the biggest factor in your credit score.
Yeah.
So that's where you should focus.
Okay, so consistent on-time payments.
Yeah.
That's like building a good reputation.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Any other proactive steps we should take?
Remember those free annual credit reports?
Yes.
Don't just download them and forget about them.
Right.
Review them regularly. at least once a year to catch any errors early.
It's like a checkup for my credit.
That's a good way to think about it.
Okay. So we're paying our bills on time.
Yep.
Checking our reports regularly. Anything else? What about special situations?
Okay.
Like bankruptcy.
Right.
We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
Can we go into a little more detail?
Of course. Bankruptcy is complex.
Yeah.
It definitely leaves a mark on your credit report.
Okay.
It's important to understand all the details. First, there are different types of bankruptcy.
Okay.
And they affect your credit differently.
Got it.
Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which involves selling assets to pay off debts, tends to have a bigger and longer impact on your score than Chapter 13, which involves creating a repayment plan.
So not all bankruptcies are the same.
No, they're not.
Okay. It's important to know the difference.
Definitely.
But regardless of the type,
yeah,
it stays on my report for years.
It does.
Does that mean my credit is doomed?
Not at all.
Okay.
While the bankruptcy itself will stay on your report for that amount of time.
Okay.
The accounts included in the bankruptcy should show a zero balance once it's filed.
Right.
So even though the bankruptcy is there,
yeah,
it's not going to be dragging you down with outstanding balances.
Okay. So it's not all bad news.
Exactly.
Okay. So bankruptcy is a big setback.
It is.
But it's not a life sentence for my credit.
No, it's not.
What about medical debt?
Okay.
That seems to be a big issue these days.
You're right. Medical debt is a huge problem for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But thankfully, there have been some changes that give consumers more protection.
Okay, good.
In the past, even small medical bills that went to collections could really hurt your credit score.
Yeah.
Even if it was because of insurance problems or surprise medical expenses.
That sounds so unfair.
It was a real issue.
So what's changed?
Well, starting in 2017, the credit bureau started using a 180-day waiting period before medical debt shows up on your credit report. This gives you more time to work things out with your insurance or the healthcare provider.
Right.
And maybe even avoid having the debt reported at all. Here's some even better news. If you have a medical debt that was already on your report and your insurance company pays it, it gets removed from your credit report completely.
Wow, that's a big deal.
It is.
No more medical debt hanging over my head just because of a billing mistake.
Exactly.
That's a huge relief.
Okay.
So we've talked a lot about DIY credit repair.
We have.
But what about those paid credit repair services?
Right.
Are they worth it?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
While credit repair companies can handle the process for you, it's important to be careful.
The
credit repair industry has a bit of a mixed reputation. There are some legitimate companies. But there are also some bad ones that might overpromise or charge a lot of money without getting you results.
So buyer beware.
Exactly. You need to do your research.
But how can I tell the good from the bad?
One of the best ways to protect yourself is to understand the rules. The Credit Repair Organizations Act, or CRO, is a law that says what credit repair companies can and can't do. For example, they can't say they can guarantee a better credit score or that they can remove accurate negative information.
So no magic wands.
No magic wands.
Got it. What else does CROA cover?
It also says they can't change or hide your identity or help you create a new one to get away from your past credit problems.
So that's a big red flag.
It is.
Okay, what about fees?
They can't charge you anything up front. They have to do the work first.
Got it.
Before they get paid.
So CROA gives some protection.
It does.
But should I even use a credit repair company?
It depends on your situation and how comfortable you are. If you feel good about working with the credit system yourself and you have the time, DIY credit repair can work really well. But if you're feeling overwhelmed or your credit situation is complicated, a good credit repair company might be a good choice.
Got it. So DIY or paid services, is there like a middle ground?
There is. What about credit repair software?
I've seen ads for that.
Yeah, credit repair software can be a good compromise. It basically guides you through the whole process. It gives you templates for dispute letters. It shows you potential issues on your credit report. And it helps you understand your rights and what you can do.
So it's like having a credit repair assistant.
Exactly.
I like that. So DIY paid services or software. How do I choose what's right for me?
The key is to know what you need and what you have. If you're comfortable doing it yourself, and you're confident you can follow through.
Right.
DIY might be the way to go
Oh.
if you want someone else to handle it.
Yeah.
And you're okay with paying for that.
Right.
A paid service could be good.
Okay.
But make sure to really check out any company before you sign up.
Absolutely.
And if you want some help but not a full service, credit repair software could be a good fit.
That's okay. So there's no one right answer.
Nope.
It's about finding what works for me.
Exactly.
This has been so helpful.
I'm glad to hear that.
I feel a lot more ready to take charge of my credit.
Good. That's the goal.
All right, so to wrap things up,
Okay.
we've covered a lot today.
We have.
We've talked about our rights, how to dispute errors, how to handle negative items, and even different credit repair options. It's all about being proactive.
Exactly.
And knowing what to do.
That's right.
Knowledge is power when it comes to your credit.
It really is.
So I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. We've learned that mistakes on credit reports are actually pretty common.
Yeah, they happen more than you think.
And your credit score can really impact your life.
That's true.
Your finances, your future. So what's one thing you'll do today to start reviewing and protecting your credit?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Even a small step can make a big difference down the road.
Absolutely. Whether it's getting those free credit reports or checking for errors, maybe just making a plan to pay your bills on time.
Right.
Taking action is what matters.
It really is.
Your future self will thank you for it.
It's an investment in your financial well-being.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us on this credit repair deep dive.
It's been fun.
Until next time, stay informed.
And stay empowered.